So I said in this class, I'd also talk a little bit about gear because I know we haven't really spoken about mixers and controllers too much. The one thing I would say, and this is a tough pill to swallow, don't feel like you have to, but ideally, I think around now would be the time to buy Tractor as a software. And I'll explain why, even if in the future you switch to Pioneer or something, it's just a handy thing, I think, to have. Um, so otherwise, it's going to quit every 30 minutes. And let's say you're dropping cues and then it does the quit because it's a demo. It actually doesn't save any of those cues or playlists that you make in that session unless you quit it before they quit on you. You also can't record a set. So you can't exactly do this next week's, mix or whatever to its fullest unless you have it. Um, and yeah, if you're thinking of buying it, I'd say like as soon as possible would be good because it's going to really help you in this next week for your next class. Priyansh recently bought it. So PD, how has it been going from demo to full version for you?
No, so good, man. Like I started off with virtual DJ, and it's a major leap, at least from there. But yeah, it's so helpful in terms of obviously it doesn't keep crashing after 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, but it's awesome where like at least on the shift from VDJ where you can have those multiple queues set up and it saves it. Even if you're using the demo and I think you buy the full version, it still saves all your queues and stuff.
In Tractor?
Tractor, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's really good at that.
Yeah, but fucking good.
Yeah. Nice. But obviously, like if you just can't afford it right now, you can just do this next week's thing even on the free one, but it will really help you out if you can afford to buy it. And then we'll just quickly talk about hardware as well. So I'd say the moment when you want to consider buying hardware is when you feel like you want to do more than a cursor can allow. So as long as possible, try and be on your computer if the computer is good enough for you and what you're thinking of doing. But as soon as you're feeling like, oh, I want to pull that effect down while I bring that filter up and bring that EQ down and this channel down, then you need hardware land. So you probably want to buy hardware. I'll put all of this in the notes, but my recommendation would either be the Tractor S2 MK1, which looks like this. It's basically two channels, so deck A, deck B. You can see the two faders in the middle. It has 4 hot cues, which is really good. So it's a really good beginner DJ setup, and it's about $200 secondhand. Plenty of them going in Facebook Marketplace and all that sort of stuff. Or the Tractor S4 MK1, which is literally the big brother to the S2. It just has 4 decks. So you can only see 2 jog wheels, but you can see 4 faders. That's because there's a button and you can switch one from being deck A to deck C. So anyway, we've not even looked at 4 deck mixing right now, but if you think that, you might want to check it out and continue to grow, this is what I would get. I'm actually looking to potentially buy this at the moment as well. And it's about $400, so about double the price of the S2. There's a few models to avoid. I'll put them in the notes. But yeah, obviously, as I've said, I'm biased and I recognize that. So before you go out and buy anything, I'd really recommend you try other things. Like, for example, try a Pioneer setup, see if you like it. So what this means is there's no computer, it's just decks. And there's a CDJ and a mixer. Brand new, you're looking at about $6,500. So up to you if you want to look that good on Instagram. There's also this other one that they've made, which is the Pioneer X DJ, which is the one Amin Cooper has. Sarah, you might have seen that if Shenry ever DJs and Amin DJs, that's what they're using. I think it's a smarter purchase because it's everything in one rather than one deck, one mixer, and third mixer is 3 separate units. It's about $2,500 brand new. I don't know the secondhand prices. There's also another software like Tractor called Serato. It's actually from Auckland. Fun fact, a little New Zealand startup success story. But yeah, so obviously, as like I showed you these controllers, they're made by Tractor for Tractor, so like proprietary controllers. Serato also has its own. I mean, it's now owned by Pioneer, so they look the same, they feel the same, and it's like Tractor's way of diversifying into the computer DJing space. And of course, there's no hard and fast rule, but generally what they say is R&B and hip hop DJs tend to prefer Serato, and house and techno DJs tend to prefer Tractor. But it's just because of the effects and things, and it's not really a hard and fast rule. Or there's also turntables if you I don't know, smoke weed and play jazz. Or you can have a combination. You can have like Tractor in the middle and then connect it to Pioneer decks and turntables as like potential future setups. Very expensive, very bulky. But there's all sorts of like possibilities there. And if you want to try before you buy, like Sarah, for you, Shenry's there. He's got the S2 at home. he's got the XDJ and he's very happy to share, I'm sure. For Priyansh, Gulam's there, he's got the S4 and he has some Pioneer decks. Jamie, if you ever want, Rody, my mate, he's got the S4 and any DJ store as well, like Store DJ in Australia. You can just go in and have a play. You got to wear gloves. I went in 2 days ago. You got to wear gloves because of COVID. So it's very industrial, but you can have a play with them, which is pretty cool. Cool. Any questions on that, on gear or software or hardware? Nope. Nice. So Likith asked a question in the last class that I wanted to just like loop back to. In the last class, I went through cue syncing, right? So like placing cues at different parts of the track. And I showed you how you can stop a track and move forward and drop a cue, etc. And he said, like, how can you do that in a live setting? And I wasn't really thinking at the time. I said, oh, you just really need to know your music. But I forgot to add, when you have a controller is not just a controller for your software. It's also a sound card. So what that means is it's got this headphone out at the bottom over here, this one over here. So that actually, and if you click Q, this yellow button on top of the channel fader, you're telling the controller, send that to me on my headphones and don't send it to the audience, right? And then that volume fader, once you put that up, that's when the audience can hear it. But if it's just on Q and the fader's down, you can hear it on your headphone and the audience can't. So that's how you can scan through the track that you're listening to at the moment or the next track that you want to play. And you can, drop cues in real time. So hopefully that helps answer that question as well. It's just obviously in bedroom DJing, you just have your computer, you don't have an external sound card and you can't do that. Cool. Does that make sense to everyone? Yeah, nice. So that's another perk of getting a controller. It changes the game a little bit. Cool. So as I said in this one, we'll just quickly revise everything we've gone through so far super quickly and just make sure everyone's like on the same page. So before you get to creating your set, you want to get Traktor, set up your settings correctly. For example, have snap and quantize turned on, these two things up here. That's, I think, in lesson 2, I went through all of the things you need to have set. And then beat match. So ensure all your tracks are analyzed. So right click, analyze in Traktor. Ensure the beat grids are correct. The thick marker should line up with the 1. Can you guys see Traktor if I point to Traktor? Yeah, cool. So for like what I mean by that is, when you zoom in over here, that's obviously the first beat. And yep, that's like a thicker white marker. Good. That's a good sign. That means your grid is generally correct. And always obviously start the next song on the first beat and make sure that the first track's on the first beat as well. Harmonic mixing, we went through. Percussion goes with percussion because drums like drums. Percussion can go with melody because drums and melody are friends as well. But melody will only go with melody when they're both in the same key, a compatible key. So yeah, reminder about that. Like every track is compatible with 4 keys. So Priyansh, if I was to pick 2A, what other keys are they compatible? Is 2A compatible with?
I don't remember, bro.
That's all good, man. It's 1 down. So if 2A is compatible with 1A, 1 up, 3A, and then it's relative major or minor. So like 2B. But yeah, you don't really have to remember this because Traktor, you can go search by key. Just the other important thing to remember is like 12 and 1 are next to each other. It's a wheel. So if you have 12B, it's compatible with 1B. You can look at the Camelot key if you want to like remember that, but you don't really need to because you can use that search by key function and you can filter I don't know, 1 second. Why it's not moving? That's annoying. Anyway, you can like search by key. And then cue syncing. So go through your library, listen to tracks, drop cues when major changes occur. You can use the move tool to help speed it up. So like, you're like, what does this sound like? Cool. Let me move it forward 32 or 64. What does that sound like? Okay, cool. That's perfectly the start of the next section. Let me drop a cue there. So that's what we went through last time. Really hard to not keep playing that track because it's so good. And then you can line up 2 major changes. So, as I showed, if you have a major change and another major change on another track, try and line them up so they're both coming at the same time. And in that time leading up to that big transition, you can use EQ and filter changes to always make changes that are in times at the end of a phrase, etc. Likith, how you doing, man? Can't hear you.
What's up, bro? Yeah,
Yo.
good.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah, dude, you haven't really missed much. We're just kind of revising everything we've learned in the course so far, and then we're gonna go through like things to think about when creating a set. But in the recording later, just look back. I answered a question that you asked in the last class again in like something I hadn't thought of last time, so you can see that in the recording. Cool.
Yep.
So let's actually talk about creating a set, which is what everyone's working on. Well, if you haven't started, then you're working on it from this week until next week. So yeah, I think to everything there's a process, and I haven't really listed the process of creating a set like this, but I think this is a good way to look at it. The first step is to build a song library. So let's say for this example where you want to build a set of 5 tracks. So let's say you times that by 10 and you want to have a song library of at least 50 tracks. Then you're just playing around and you're setting cues. Obviously then with your song library, analyze it, sort them by BPM, ensure your grids are right. The admin, right? The prep. And then you play around, set cues. And I'm going to do all of this in a second. I've downloaded about a few tracks, like 10 tracks or so. I haven't really played around with them much. So I'm going to show you how I do exactly this in a sec. You listen to them, you set some cues when major changes happen, and then you shortlist. So let's say 10 tracks, right? And you make that a playlist. So I'll show you how to make a playlist in Traktor and have it really handily available. And then you want to nail your transitions down. Like you have a play with those 10 and you find some transitions that just work so well that like tell that story that you're trying to tell and you go, you know what, like that's it. And there's a trick over here, which I'll show you. You can find like, okay, these 2 tracks work really well as an intro. And then these 2 tracks are full on, but they work really well as an outro. So then you have 2 sections. And then all you got to do is you have to build a bridge in between those sections. You know what I mean? You just have to figure out how to get from B to D. You need to have C in the middle. Like rather than just one after the other, you can build your set in different like batches and then connect them. And then you have your set list, which is your final 5 tracks. And you can actually pull them up or down in the playlist and rank them, like rank as in the order that you want. And then you practice your transitions. And really important, only then add the polish. So don't get too hung up in the beginning that you don't do these steps, because this is really 90% of the work. The polish is things like, you know, that nice intro, that nice outro, texture, like Sarah, you said you want to sample that speech, you know, things like that are great things to add, and maybe they're things that come after. But if that's what really inspires you and you want to start with that first, maybe that's a section and you build before and you build after. That's another way to do it. So yeah, maybe like for 5 or 10 minutes, I'll just show you me doing that. So this is my track collection, has a few tracks in there. But what I've done, I'm just checking you can see Traktor, right? Yes, okay, good. What I've done is I've made this playlist. It's called We Both Knew because it's a lyric from this song that I really like, Never Come Back by Caribou. And it has those words. That's kind of what started this playlist and this mood. But yeah, as I said, I haven't really played with this. I've sorted them by key. I know that Serendipity is a great, mysterious, intriguing track. So let me just like start with that and let me just see where it goes. Guys, please get headphones. Look at them looking at you. So yeah, this is just a nice, like mysterious kind of track I've been liking. Now I can see that the next one that this is just Traktor suggesting to me, I didn't do anything funky, is All That Matters, a remix of All That Matters by Kush. It's in the same key, 1D. So like it must be good. So, you know, I'm just gonna fast forward through it. It's quite melodic, so I know I want like a melodic transition, a harmonic transition. So let's just have a play and hear how it goes. Cool. Second track's in. Sounds pretty good. I like this loop. I'm gonna loop it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I started it on the 1, which is always good practice. Gonna turn down my EQs to be a bit more Shendry-like, a bit subtle, you know, with bringing it in, like how I showed you with the looping stuff. And bass swap. It's nice and gentle, but I kind of like it. Like it's working. Might fast forward a bit. I'm just fast forwarding using the move cue so it never runs out of sync. And I'm just EQing out the first track so that it's not as present, but it's still there, like a memory of what was there. I've unlooped the first track because I wanted to start to end now. Cool. I can start just pulling down the first track. Cool. So that's like one transition. So maybe, yeah, I'm just completely jamming. Like maybe that's my intro. What can I do from there? Okay, well, Tractor suggested New Day would go well. That's another track with vocals, similar vibe. So let me just try that on for size right now. And then I know I want to get to Never Come Back. I love that song. And that's what started this vibe. So okay, actually, let's just say, you know what I did right now? Maybe that's an intro, and I need to build a bridge to Never Come Back. So Never Come Back is 12M. There's this other track called Mumbai Sinner, which is techno mixed with an Indian song by A.R. Rahman, actually, which is fucking cool. I don't know if they'll go together, but I know that Never Come Back has an interesting intro. Like, listen to it. It's just these words, but very melodic. So a melodic transition is ideal. So let's just listen to this. It's more energy, this one, actually. Okay, cool. So how am I going to get from that to, I don't know, but they're in sync, and they're in key, so it shouldn't be too bad. But just going to listen through this track. You know, maybe I can tease it. I'm just making this up as I go. Maybe I can tease it because there's so much vocals to tease, and I can only bring it in later. Let's just see what happens. That's cool. So I'm just bringing it up when he speaks. That's a nice way to add like a bit of movement or texture to the track and like tease the audience about what's coming. It gets like quite cinematic and stuff. But I'm just gonna try the typical outro intro transition for now and see what happens. But it should be interesting because of these vocals. I really like that. That works. But I need to start taking the bass line of the first song out because it's quite a bit. It's quite chunky. Also, when you take bass out of one track, it makes the audience miss bass and want bass again. I can see the drops kind of coming over there, so I can build it now. Maybe I'll use effects, you know, reverb, delay, filter it out. And here it's like building up now. Just using reverb and delay, nothing fancy. And I'm pretty much on to the next track. So now I just need to build a bridge between, what was that song I ended on? All That Matters. And I need to get to Mumbai Sinner, but I need something in between to get me there, right? So then I can try this track. So anyway, I'm not going to do it now. I think you guys get the point, but I'm really just having a play. The key thing helps me a lot, but that I like mixing harmonically. You don't have to. And then I'm just kind of like experimenting and seeing what works. Is anyone feeling like they're not gonna be able to like do this? Like you know what I mean? Like are you having any doubts or anything like that before I move on to how to record your set? No, all good. Not too scary. Nice. And it's fucking fun. I was actually raving out before this class. Yeah, Priyansh?
Good question. When Tractor suggests you the next track,
Yeah.
Is it always in that order, or can you change that order?
You can change the order. Sorry. Tractor didn't exactly suggest it. I asked Tractor to suggest by key. So you see this arrow?
Which one?
Can you see Tractor?
Yeah.
Can you
Okay,
see?
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you keep switching that back and forth.
Yeah. Or you can also sort by BPM, build a journey on speed.
And I don't want it to be either or. I probably want it like in the order that I would want it to be. So
perfect.
Nice drag and drop.
Nice. Yeah, good question. So now I know that my first track is Serendipity. So I'm going to drag that. It does this weird thing where if you sort, you can't. There we go. Serendipity, you just drag it. And then I want All That Matters after that. And then I want, I know that at some point I want Mumbai Sinner.
Okay, cool.
And then Never Come Back. And so that is actually what I meant by this part, which is, you know, shortlist is make your 10 tracks, make it into a playlist. I forgot to show you how to do that. I'll do that. I'll show you right now. Set list is actually ranking your songs accordingly. So that's what I mean. Do exactly what you're doing. Drag and drop them in the order that you've experimented and you find, yep, these work, those work. That's the order I want them. Cool. And in terms of how I actually made this playlist, and it's here and it's so easy to pull up, super important, right? So on the left is track collection. Over here, you can see my screen, right, Tractor? Yes? Cool. Sorry, I just have to keep checking. So over here, playlist, go right click, create playlist. Jamie XX, get it, Jamie? And then take it, drag it, and chuck it on one of these empty ones. And that's it. Now, if you want to actually put something in there, you can just drag it into that playlist. So that's how I did that. And then you can just right click and delete it as well. If you're really big on iTunes, there's a way you can integrate iTunes over here, but I don't really know if anyone's on iTunes these days. But yeah, that used to be a thing. Cool. Any other questions on that before I move to like how to record the set? No, nice. Sweet. And yeah, all right. Practice your transitions, then polish, as I said. Okay, so now this next part is like a little bit of new knowledge. Some of it I geek out on, but I think it's useful to know. So I'm going to talk to you about recording and uploading your set. So with recording, you can only do this next step if you paid for Tractor. So like the first thing I said in this class is I think it might be time to buy Tractor. There's no way around it. But if you still want to do the free version, you can, and you can just do the screen share, which I'm going to talk about here. But you can't record and put it up on SoundCloud and follow these steps. But the recording's always here if you want to do it next time.
Hey,
So
Dean, question.
Yeah, what's up?
Why is it on the Tractor DJ demo, why is there a button that says start recording? And then, yeah.
Okay. So the website the website for Tractor Pro 3, which is the version I've been trying to push you all to because it's the one I use and the latest one. The website said demo recording not enabled, but maybe for Tractor DJ 2, the one that I think you have.
Oh, yeah. That's what I have.
Yeah.
Cool. That's why it would look different then, because I was like, why is the demo one so
I
different
know.
to what you have?
Please get at least the Tractor Pro 3 demo. That demo one is like really old. Likith had it and he showed me and I was like, what is this? It's like virtual DJ. Please come back.
Cool. Okay. That makes sense.
All right. But yeah, in terms of recording, guys, super easy. It's a bit hidden actually. Over here on the top left and right, it just looks like two effects, right? But on the right, if you click this button, I wondered what it is for a while. I think it's actually a cassette sideways, like the old cassette recorders. That's what it's modeled off, right? That's your recorder, okay? Before you record though, couple of settings. And I've put this in the notes. Go to mix recorder, source internal, because you're mixing internally in your computer. You don't have a mixer on the side like a Tractor S4. So internal, directory is where you want it to save. And then it splits the file. Tractor splits the file if it goes above a certain limit. Just set that to the max limit and make sure you're not like, your computer's not like, I only have 500 megabytes before I die. So try and try and clean up your computer a bit so you have a few gigs. And then when you record, you shouldn't have problems. So yeah, to record, guys, literally as simple as, I'll show you. Start recording and then stop recording. It's done. It's already happened. Just go to your folder, recordings. There it is. Today at 5:57 p.m. There it is. Cool. So super easy to record your tracks. But yeah. Okay. That's recording. Cool. So it's actually going to export what's called a WAV file. So let's look at the record. Oh shit. Where do I do that? Okay. So this is the part that I geek out, but I think it's important, as I said, to know this. So if I go to my recordings and I go, yeah, can you see it says .wav it's called the codec, like the file extension. So it's important to know a little bit about what that means and why the next step I've suggested here is to compress your file. So basically the purpose of this step is to reduce it from a large file size. .wav is a really big file size to a smaller file size, which is MP3. So perhaps just a question, with your mix that you sent to me and you uploaded on SoundCloud, did you convert it to an MP3 file?
Yeah, I just found like a link online.
Perfect. Nice. So yeah, the main reason is there's like two types of audio codecs. One of them is called lossless, and their aim is to keep the audio as high quality as possible. Some examples are Wave, AIFF, which is Apple only, and FLAC, which is like the biggest file size. And yeah, their purpose, like high sample rate, basically means really high quality, and so it's gonna have a really large file size. But then there's lossy, and I didn't make up that word. That's actually the opposite of lossless. It's called lossy. And yeah, MP3, the most common popular one, AAC, which is the Apple only version, and WMA, like the Windows Media something. But yeah, the purpose of these is to remove some of the file information from the big quality lossless ones, and it tricks the brain into thinking it's high quality. So if you listen on small speakers, small headphones, it's hard to tell the difference. Some Germans say that they can, but I don't know, I can't. But if you play it on like high-end systems like home theaters, nightclubs where there's a massive subwoofer, etc., you can hear the difference. Especially for DJs been DJing MP3 and then another DJ comes on and he's downloaded WAV files and he plays it. It sounds like it got louder, brighter, bass came back. Like it's such a refreshing feeling. Anyway, the aim of you converting it is because for web distribution, smaller file size is better when you upload on SoundCloud, etc. So for now, just remember you're going to be recording in WAV, but you want to convert it to MP3. You don't want to upload a WAV file. It takes ages. So in terms of how to do it, Pranch, what he did, that's one way of doing it. You can find a link online, but then it takes double the time because you have to upload the file and then convert it and then download the file again. So what I'd recommend is you can download this app called Audacity. Every person who does anything with sound has used this app at some point. It's free. It does the most basic shit really easily. I'll show you how to use it right now. Audacity opens up. You want to find your file that you've recorded because you've recorded your set by this time. go to recordings, grab the WAV file, put it into Audacity, file, export as MP3. And then over here, just choose where you want to save it. These are a couple of settings you need to know. Constant, 320 kbps, which is basically highest quality, and set it to stereo, not joint stereo, not mono. Oops, stereo, and then save, and then it exports it. That's it. It's done. As easy as that. Okay. So when you do that and you have your MP3 file, you then want to upload that file to SoundCloud. So firstly, like, why are you uploading to SoundCloud? Don't feel forced to like continue this and have a public SoundCloud if you don't want to, etc. But just so you know, it's so that you can have like a portfolio of your work. You can then easily distribute it to friends or blogs or whatever you want to do with your DJing ambitions. You can even get discovered. So on my SoundCloud, I really don't share or advertise it at all. I mean, I used to, but not really anymore. But I'm listened to in Ukraine and shit. It's random. So you can, that's kind of fun. And you get these comments and friends. Or it's just like a feeling of self-fulfillment that you feel like you got to the end of a journey when you put it up. It's like the last step and you're like, okay, that's done. And then you can listen to it in a car the next time your friends have a speaker and it's going around. How do you do that? Super simple. Make an account on SoundCloud, upload your MP3 version, not your WAV version. You can set it to public or private. You can add things like artwork, description. So if your mix, you've thought about some kind of story, like how Priyansh's, for example, is like taking you on a journey. It was like a photo of a plane and the description and the name also match that. So that's a cool way to like package it all up together rather than like mix one on this date. So up to you. And then pro tip, a lot of people don't know this. It's actually illegal to have mixes on SoundCloud, but fuck the popo. So SoundCloud has an algorithm which will actually scan your tracks, and if it recognizes copyright, it'll take it down. But because it's really expensive for SoundCloud to do that, the rumor on the street is that SoundCloud only tracks your first 20 seconds of audio. So that's why I said make a unique intro. It's not just because it's nice to have a unique intro. It's also because a filter, some effects, some vocal speech, any of my mixes, if you hear the first minute, they're like some random crap. It's because the algorithm struggles to find the original track, and there's higher chances of your tracks mixes staying on there. It's the worst feeling when you have a mix, it's got some traction, and then SoundCloud police takes it down. Okay, so that's why you have a unique intro.
Can I just jump in and ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Is it possible for me like change the file type to WAV from MP3? You know how like in an image, like you can make it like when you download it, it's JPEG, and then you can change it to like PNG to manipulate it.
Yeah, sure. So here's the general rule of thumb. You want to be able to go from lossless to lossy. You can convert from lossy up, so MP3 to lossless, MP3 to WAV, but it's not going to do anything. It doesn't make it higher quality, because if you have a lower quality file, it's already lost some of that digital info, which makes it lower file size, lower quality. And then you convert it to WAV. Yeah, sure. The file size will beef up. It'll say .wav, but it's still just as shitty as the MP3 file. It doesn't actually get better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But you can obviously do the other way. You can compress a high quality file to a lower quality file. You can't go up.
Cool. That's the same. Like you can't make a shitty quality image into a better one.
Actually, yeah, that's a perfect example. If you have a blurry image and you convert it to however high quality the codec is, it's not going to change it.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Nice. Sweet. And then once you're done uploading, so this is hopefully, I know it seems like a lot, but it's not. I've listed out the steps. Once you've recorded and uploaded your set, then before next week, before Wednesday, hopefully Tuesday night, share it in the group or send it to me if you prefer. If you've set it to private, so on SoundCloud, you can choose private. Don't share me the URL on the top. That's not going to work. You can just click share in SoundCloud and it shows you a secret link so that it stays private. And you can send that. Totally understand if you want to, just be a bit low key about it. I have weird insecurities about music. So if you have the same, I understand. And then, and this is the slightly annoying part because of COVID and all of us being in different places. Ideally, I'd love to just sit around a bunch of speakers and listen to everyone listen to everyone's set. But what do you want to do? Because next class, you'll be sharing your screen and you'll be sharing your tractor. is you just want to prepare for the Zoom screen share before the class. So how you can do that is just go to your Zoom account. Free is fine. You don't have to buy one because I have the paid version now. So you can just, it's fine. Go to your Zoom account, share screen, tick share computer audio. If you haven't done this before, the first time it does this, it'll actually download some kind of installer. So why I'm asking you to do this is so that you do it now in your own time rather than like when everyone's on the call. So you share computer audio, and then once you do that, you might have to like quit and reopen things for the next part to work. But when you open Traktor and go to settings in audio setup, there'll actually be a new audio device called Zoom audio device, which is fucking cool. I tried every single video conference software. Nothing does it. So change it to Zoom and sound check with a friend to make sure it works. I'm unemployed and pretty free. So just message me or record it and see if it worked. And then practice speed running your set. So what I mean by that is have your cues placed for your transitions. And then when you actually do share, what you're going to be doing is maybe share, talk a little bit about what it's, the mood or the feeling or the story, if there's one, or just like apologize if it's like not overcooked, because I feel like everybody does that, including myself. And then play your intro, fast forward to your cues. So pretty much just like this, like what I just showed you. Let's say you're showing this transition from All That Matters to what's that song I wanted to go to? It was New Day. Finish the transition of All That Matters so that it's in fully. And then once it's in and you're not really doing anything at this point, fast forward using this fast forward, like the move tool, so that it doesn't sound too jarring. Like, we get the point. And go to wherever you transition out. It could be the end of the track, it could be the middle, you set a loop, whatever you've got. And then what we really want to see is like how you bring in the next track, show us the transition. So for example, now I'm just doing another transition. I don't know how I got into this. Here we are. Cool. So yeah, show us kind of how it like comes in. Oh, this next track is a banger, guys. Okay. Check it out. Okay. You get the point. So yeah, speed run, show us the transitions, and shit, what did I do? Sorry, guys. Yeah, that's pretty much it. In terms of prep, does it feel like a lot, the recording and the prepping for Zoom screen share? I mean, plus making a set. It's only five tracks.
How long does that normally take?
So with electronic music, it's about, I'd say 6 to 7 minutes is a typical track. And then you have to remember you have the transitions. So it's like 1 minute is overlap pretty much, right? So maybe about 20 minutes in total, 20 to 25.
No, I mean like if you're starting from scratch, choosing songs and everything, and then figuring out what transitions, how many hours does that usually take you?
I would say, let's not say take me, because I've like done it.
Yeah, I was saying like take you, and I was thinking take someone who isn't you.
Like take me when I started perhaps is a better one. Look, it does take time and work. I'm not going to lie about that. Like, it is a little bit of a task, but a fun task. So the most of the work is in downloading the songs. I know it seems like the technical stuff like DJing is the hardest, but it's really not. It's finding your songs. So it depends how organized you are with your playlist. If you're like Jamie, then great, it's going to be quick. If you're like me and you're messy, it's fucked. It might take me, I would say in total about 3 to 4 nights, like split up rather than just going at once. With the first 2 probably Priyansh. Don't forget to turn it in. Yeah, Priyansh, I won't use Lane 8 Sticky Fingers. I know that's your song. That'd be plagiarism. But yeah, I'd say the first 2 nights, so like 50% of it would be downloading the songs and understanding your songs. And then the other 50% would be playing around with them, moving them up and down, dropping cues, and actually recording. And then actually I would add another probably like, session, like 2 hours to do the recording, put it up on SoundCloud, practice your like Zoom screen share. I know that part's a bit annoying. It's just that's the only way to do it. But look, guys, here's what we can do. Next Monday, let's check in on how everyone's going. And like, I'm not saying Prayansh has been asking for an extension for years, but I'm not saying like we should extend it. Let's try and aim for Wednesday because that'd be great. But if by Monday, Tuesday, everyone's like, fuck, just really haven't got to it, or I'm 2-3 tracks in, if I just had another day or two, I could really do a good job. Then we could look at, I don't know, moving it a day or something like that. I don't want to move it to Friday. That Friday is like, Friday nights, I'd be at Lickets getting drunk. So.
And yeah, I guess for me, I don't really listen to, I don't know, I don't feel like I listen to the type of music that you're using to mix with and stuff. So, I mean, I do and I don't. Like, I don't really know any artists, and I can't be like, yeah, I really love that song, especially the part where it goes something. So I feel like there's going to be a lot more research on for me
Sarah, that's
to get
fine.
to that.
Yeah, I completely hear you. And I think something I tried to say in the last class is like, I know I'm sticking to a certain genre, but it doesn't mean like I really want you to like find your sound. So if there's some websites that can help you, so I'll put them in the notes. Beatport.com is like the biggest library for DJs, with really good charts. So let's say at least one artist that you like, or one DJ that you like, or something, or a record label of a song you like. You can find their page on Beatport, and you can find charts that DJ has made, like My Summer Collection. Similarly, Spotify these days, it's probably even better interface than Beatport, because you can go to your artist, right click, you like that song radio, right? And actually Spotify's back end, geeking out again, it's based on SQL, like tables. So it has like BPM key, there's metrics like danceability. So when you do right click song radio, it's like a super DJ has gone and compiled that. So you can use those tools and maybe make a Spotify playlist first.
That's actually so funny that you say that. That's one of the things that I like have a iffy with Spotify. Like, I don't love how the algorithm works. Like sometimes it's like when you go to song radio, it shows you like songs in a similar genre, but not like, I don't know, I feel like I have to find the song BPM playlists, and then like, or like if I want a specific theme, then like that's something that I have to search for as well.
Interesting.
Anyway, that's just my radio.
Yeah.
It's so funny, Sarah, that you bring that up, because I totally had the same thought. I was like traditionally, like this is made for like EDM, but it's like, I feel like you can make anything. Once you know the basics, you can make any kind of set.
Totally. As long as it's 4/4 generally, which is most music, this is it's the way to go. Like all the things I've shared,
yeah,
apply.
But then I think another problem I'll have just in general, to make it all about me, is sticking to a theme. Because I listen to things, I go, fuck, that sounds good. And then I'll be like, oh, but this sounds good. And this sounds good. And I'm like, none of that will go together.
So Sarah, that's also fine. It is, look, I'm not going to lie. Multi-genre mixing is a more challenging art than same genre mixing. Like what I'm doing is probably one of the easiest in terms of technicality. It's like super simple. As you can see, they're just made to be mixed. But if you go back to, I think it was class 2 where I showed you an example multi-genre mix going from like Tupac to Flume or something. That's an example of how you can use these tools to really mix across genres. If you download your songs and you sort them by BPM, forget about key for a sec, that will show you a rough journey of where you want to get to. Because usually you want to try going from slower to faster in a set. And then you could bring it back down at the end, like, have like a curve. BPMs are not always a measure of energy, but they generally, give a sense of how pumping or energetic that track is. Cool.
And which demo is it that we need? I mean, which software is it that we need?
Tractor Pro,
Tractor 2.
Tractor Pro 3. And
you know that the demo, you can't really do it without buying it, or can you do it off the demo?
So, okay, so here's the thing. Yeah. This is actually good to loop back to. So if you are happy to buy Tractor, go ahead and buy it. That's the best ideal option. The next best option is go Traktor Pro 3 Demo. Apparently, you shouldn't be able to record. Likith, if you can just check later and confirm back to us, that would be great because I know you have it. So in the same top right section. But if you can't record, that's fine. You can't record the set and put it up on SoundCloud. Skip that step, but you can still share your screen and do the mix with us, which is probably what's more important, I think. Right? It's just that, remember, it's going to quit every 30 minutes. So set an alarm every time you open it for 25 minutes. Quit it yourself so that your cues and your playlists, if you've done any in that session, save, then open it again. I was at Likith's house and we were like messing around with some hip hop, and then in 30 minutes it crashed and we lost all the cues and had to do it again.
Hey, just for that, actually, I found something kind of helpful. I don't know whether this will help Sarah or no, but if you have a hip hop kind of song which you don't think is fast enough or something, try downloading a remix of it. Maybe that may go with something more fast. So that's just something I picked up. Maybe if it's helpful.
That's a really good call, bro. Remixes are actually made for DJs to mix. They're already warped, as in they're already quantized on a grid. Yeah. And they have an intro, outro, which makes it handy.
I know. Yep.
I think something else that's really helpful is if you use a track like bridge to another genre as well. So like if you're shifting from hip hop to whatever it is, and you can always use something that has like that mid BPM. So you can always like jump through if you're worried about all of it not going together. Sometimes works.
Yeah, that's a good call. Have those like sections and then a bridge in between to weave them together.
Yeah.
Good. And percussive tracks are great for that. See, because percussion goes with percussion, it goes with melody. So if you find a percussive track, you have a track that's very melodic. Let's say you're mixing salsa, right? And you can go into like a percussive track, speed it up a little bit, and then you can play dance music. And they can both be at completely different keys. It doesn't matter because you have percussion in the middle that clears the palette of like what key you're listening to. Those are some tricks. Man, I'm excited. Keen to hear what you guys come up with. And I'm so happy Jamie's back in the mix. I thought we lost you for a bit.
Yeah, sorry, just got a bit busy the last couple of weeks.
Oh, no, it's fine.
Yeah, here I am.
Cool. Okay, guys. I think that's that. I mean, after next class, we can chat about continuing if you like. Like Jamie, we were speaking about maybe potential basic Ableton classes so that you can learn how to make your own edits and mashups. We can start with real basic Ableton because it can be intimidating.
I would love to learn how to.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
And if you have controllers by then, anyone, we could you can do some classes where we learn how to use a controller, and then the other ones we can just stick to Ableton.
Do you know what Phineas O'Connell said? Like Billie Eilish's brother.
Oh yeah.
I watched this video of him talking, and he was like, "Oh, I make all the tracks on my MacBook Pro just with the keys."
Yeah.
He somehow just like engineered that, and I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, Ableton has that automatically. I'll show you that when we do Ableton. It's you turn your computer keyboard into a piano.
Into MIDI, yeah.
Yeah, into MIDI, exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
Sick. All right. Cheers, fam. Hit me up if you need any help or get stuck.